show. So long, everybody.
The always tough Highland Park squad. Alan Mallory has the story.
This isn't the same Highland Park team we've been used to seeing in recent years. The Scots lack the superstars, the size, and the speed. They're still winning, only this year they're doing it with emotion.
We're playing pretty well. We've yo-yoed a little bit, up, down, as far as being on-off. And I think we're to the point, though, that first time we don't, then we hang our hat up, and our kids are going to play well.
Usually the Scots start quick and fade in the playoffs, but that too has changed.
Last year we started off real fast, and it seemed at the end of the season we sort of teetered off a little bit. And this year it seems like we went through our ups and downs in the regular season, and when we hit the playoffs, we've really been playing good the last 2 weeks. I don't know, if we can keep it up or not, but hopefully we can.
While the Highland Park defense has been excellent, the offense has sputtered, and this week brings Bryan to town, one of the best teams in the state.
I don't think there's more pressure because we've been in a big game like this before, but I think that if we don't score, then it's gonna be tough for us to beat them, because their offense is so good that, as good as our defense is, it's gonna be tough for them to keep them out of the end zone.
And if you think last week's big win over Plano is still diverting some of the attention, think again.
Bryan is just a Class A1 football team, and we're going to have to devote all our attention to them and leave Plano behind. It was a great win, but you got to move on.
Alan Mallory, Channel 5 Sports.
As for action tonight,
The Frank Bevers Show with the head coach of the Highland Park Scots and Ray Gaskin. Brought to you in part by Abio and Atleta Realtors. We know what makes the Park City special. By Henry's, where you can find the clothes that you want for any occasion.
American heartbeat. It's the American heartbeat. The American heartbeat. Oh, the American heartbeat. It's the American heartbeat.
I feel great. I can't explain. Words cannot. I just can't explain how good I feel right now. I'm so tired, but it's worth it. It's worth it, I tell you what.
Welcome to the Frank Bevers Show. I'm Ray Gaskin with the head coach of the Highland Park Scots, Coach Frank Bevers. And as all of you know, the Scots are getting ready to take on Conroe this Saturday night, 7:30 at Texas Stadium in the state quarterfinals of the 5A playoffs. Coach, it's getting very wintry outside. In fact, we have long since moved the show indoors, and it's a good thing today. Very chilly outside, but I know you're very pleased to still be playing football.
We're very pleased, Ray, that we have an opportunity to stay in one more week. And from this point on, it's going to be pretty tough survival of the fittest of a lot of teams around Texas. And it's going to be exciting. Conroe's a worthy opponent, and they're very good, and it's going to be close, and it'll be very exciting for the fans.
I would think that Conroe matches up in many ways, if you look at their season, much like you do. They were a team that at times played extremely well. They did lose some ball games during the regular season, but they seem to have saved their best football for the playoffs.
That's true. They match up pretty good against us. Their offense and our offense is pretty comparable. Their defense is very aggressive like ours is, and our kicking game is about even. So it should be a good, close ball game. I don't think it'll be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be pretty cold in Texas Stadium Saturday night, and they run a pressing defense, press you with at least 8 people nearly on every play, and you have to be careful that you don't turn the ball in your end of the field. If you do, bad things are fixing to happen.
We've already alluded to the weather conditions. Fortunately, up to this point, you've had pretty decent weather. We had that rain back in the fall, but it's a little different when it's raining and 65 degrees than it is if it's one of those drizzly type of situations. Is it affecting your practice this week?
No, it's not affecting practice. Of course, you got to play in it, so we work out in it, and we don't stay outside quite as long as what you would on a normal day, but we are going outside and playing in the cold as well as the drizzling rain.
Took on a very good Bryan football team, which was undefeated last Saturday afternoon at Texas Stadium, and stopped one of the better running backs in the state. He got his yardage, but he never was able to quite break the long one on you.
Now, Charles Perry is probably as good football player, running back, as there is in Texas today, and he's a big play guy, can go the distance from any point on the field. And our defense did a super job in containing him. I think limited him to only 100 yards or a little bit better. And that is a super night with a football player like him.
I know in talking to some of the players after the ball game, several of them stated that they wanted to win that game last week for you since it represented your 100th coaching victory here at Highland Park.
Well, I don't know about winning it. For me, I think they were playing real hard, and I think that was just another thing for the kids to think about to add a little interest to the game. They always play hard. It is a team deal. It's not an individual deal. And that's what makes football so exciting is you don't have many individuals on it. It's got to be a team deal for you to win.
Better to celebrate it at Texas Stadium than with the first game of the season next year, right?
And that's the truth.
Also, by the way, congratulations on being named the Area Coach of the Year by the Dallas Morning News. I really sincerely say that that's quite an honor.
Well, I appreciate that. And of course, there are so many guys that would be just as worthy of the honor. Particularly in this area, Gary Childress has got a good football team. Mike Bailey from Plano East, as there are probably many other coaches, but there can only be one, I assume. And I don't know whether it's lucky or unlucky or what. They did give me the honor, and I appreciate that.
That was a nice color picture of you in the paper. Did they? How many poses and different takes did you go through to get that?
I don't know. It was a good 30, 40 minutes worth.
Work. At Abbeo and Adlita, we're building a tradition the same way the Scots built theirs, through long hours, hard work, and the desire to succeed. The Highland Park Scots and Abbeo and Adlita Realtors, both a part of what makes the Park City special.
No matter what the occasion, you'll find what you're looking for at Henry's.
The Highland Park Scots, under Coach Frank Bevers, reflect one thing: excellence. And when you look for automotive excellence, you think Mercedes-Benz. And when you look for the Dallas home of excellence in automotive engineering, you think Auto House. Auto House at 14185 Dallas Parkway is only 12 minutes from the Park Cities. Just drive north on the tollway to Dallas Parkway and the home of Mercedes-Benz. Scots football and a winning tradition. Auto House and Mercedes-Benz. Some things just go together.
Coach, we've alluded to this before. Texas Stadium has become something of a second home to you. There was a little bit different scenario with the ball game against Bryan, and that is it was an afternoon game, and also the sun was shining.
It really was. You know, in playing Texas Stadium, there is a sun problem, particularly in the afternoon game, because it varies and it changes its position on the field. But, you know, you practice in the afternoon, so to us it wasn't a really big deal. But to some people, you could get psyched out.
And it was a great time, I guess, for Wayne Clements to be hitting some of those boomers and punting situations with the great hang time, particularly if the opposition was having to stare into that sun.
Was it really? Of course, I think one time that, particularly when I think they threw the ball, that they had to throw it in the sun. And, of course, this could have been a factor that the ball ended up being incomplete.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the first quarter highlights now. Highland Park against Bryan last Saturday afternoon at Texas Stadium. Eddie Jordan, the quarterback, we pick it up on first down. Melvin Smith gains 15 yards. That's a pretty good start for Bryan.
Is it ever? Of course, we're trying to recognize defenses. We're setting our defense to their offensive set, and that was one particular offensive set that we had not worked against.
Charles Perry, the young man we alluded to a moment ago, gains 2 on 1st and 10. That sets up 2nd down and 8 at the 46-yard line. But defense is going to get a lot tougher right here.
It certainly is. You see Brandon Williams coming in and making the tackle. He gets hit in the bicep, knocks his arm numb a little bit, and you see him getting up slowly. But he'll be back in just before the half is over. 3rd down and 8 at the 46-yard line of Bryan. The pitch goes to Smith, who gained 15 earlier. This time he gets 4 yards, but that is not enough for a first down. No, it really isn't. A super job by our free safety, Esquivel, turning the play in and making the tackle.
So on 4th down and 4 at the Bryan 49, Gooseby punts. And should this have been a touchback or not?
Well, I don't think so. I think the emphasis of the ball carried him into the end zone and kneeled out. Now it's got to come back out to the 1 yard line.
And that's exactly where the Scots put it into play. John Stallwork at quarterback on first down. John keeping the ball. Well, it could have been a risky situation there for you.
That was very risky. I thought at the time when we sent the play in that was going to be on the 20 and it ended up being on the 1. Now the thing we've got to do is get to the 5 yard line just so we can punt.
Josh Theodore gets 3 of those yards, so it is 3rd down and 6 at the 6 yard line. And here's a good run by James Nolan. That does get you a first down.
Certainly does. Now we don't have to worry about a punting situation, particularly backed up in the end zone.
1st and 10 at the 13 yard line. John runs the option play to the right, keeps the ball, and spins forward for another yard or so. It's a gain of 5, 2nd down and 5 at the 18th. Here's a pretty brave call back in that end of the field.
It really is. This is a tight end drag with a flow away from where the pass is going to end up. And Clark Kington makes a nice catch. He's well covered. John threads the needle real nicely, and we come up with a 7 yard gain.
Good catch by Clark. 1st and 10 at the 25 yard line. And let's see what happens on this play. John keeps the ball coming left, and there is nothing there.
And we get a little help from the referee right here from hitting late, and that helps quite a bit.
Well, it sure does. 15-yard penalty moves the ball out to the 40. It's 1st down, and Josh Theodore gets the carry for a gain of 2. Now, in this next play, you're going to go back to the air, I believe, from the 42-yard line as John looks for Wayne Clements.
This is a beautiful pass completed to Wayne. I think we have a holding penalty, and we get backed up 5 yards.
Now, let's talk about Josh Theodore. He saw more playing time in this ball game, and you'll watch him go 46 yards for a TD here.
This is a super run with Josh. We thought we'd play Josh a little bit this week, knowing that we were going to try to bring the ball inside and get a little more quickness inside with our running attack.
And you saw what he did, 46-yard TD run, reminiscent of James Knowles' touchdown run against Plano the week before. 9-play, 99-yard drive. The extra point by Clements is good. It's a 7-0 game, and you have to be feeling pretty good.
We're feeling very good right now. We got down there pretty easily. We thought it would be much more difficult than that, particularly on the first drive.
Perry brings the ball back for the Bryan Vikings. 1st and 10 at the 33-yard line. And let's watch Perry on this first down play. You're going to see a lot more of him as the game goes along. He only gets 2 yards on this play, though.
I'll tell you what, we saw about enough security that we wanted to see that would last for a lifetime because he is an excellent football player. 2nd down and 8. Jordan back to pass, and he overthrows his receiver, but it's probably just as well. He was double covered. 3rd down and 8 at the 35. Smith gets only 2. That sets up a punt. Certainly does. You, of course, see our defense very excited in Nash and Vihan. They're bundles of emotion.
Gooseby punts the ball, and Steve Davis is on the receiving end for Highland Park back at the 18-yard line. And some pretty good containment here by the Bryan Vikings. So it's 1st and 10 at the 21.
Got a lot better field position this time. We hope that we can do something with it.
2nd down at the 22-yard line after James Knoll picks up 1 on the first down play. Give here is to Josh Theodore, but then we've got a holding call against Highland Park that sets up a 3rd down and 13 at the 19-yard line. John in trouble, and I believe he just has to dump the ball off.
He really does. He throws the ball in the ground. He's very smart. If you throw it over the line of scrimmage, then that's a penalty, and he threw it on the ground behind the line of scrimmage.
Wayne Clements punts, and boy, watch this one go 60 yards in the air, Coach.
A beautiful punt, and our punt cover team does a super job in getting down and covering the punt.
As they have done so well all year. 1st and 10 at the Bryan 31. Reggie Williams carries for the Vikings, picks up 8 yards.
Triple Wood is not fooled on the play, stays home, makes a nice tackle.
2nd down and 2 at the 39. Here comes Perry again, cuts back for pickup of 3 yards, and it's a 1st down for Bryan. Smith coming around the right side. He gains 9 yards.
I'll tell you what, Smith's not a bad football player. He has a great quickness, and he put a lot of pressure on you.
Teaming up very well with Perry in the backfield for the Bryan Vikings. Now from the 45, they've got a 1st down. They try a reverse, but very good pursuit by the Scots.
Certainly is, and that's another nice tackle by our free safety, James Escobar.
2nd down and 8 coming up at the 43. Here is a key play in the ballgame. Jordan throwing deep, and it is picked up by Esquivel.
James makes a nice break on the ball, steps in front of the defender, and we get the ball back about the 34-yard line.
So, Bryan turning it over as we watch on the replay from the end zone camera. And here comes that pass by Jordan. Good position there by James. So, after the interception, Highland Park takes over at the 34-yard line, and they're into the field, leading by a score of 7-0. And I believe just one play remaining here in the first period. It's first down from the 34, and a busted play here for a loss of 4.
And this is a little bit unusual for us. We called the play on the sideline that we were going to send in the game. We go to the huddle and call the same play again, and we have a busted assignment. This is a little bit unusual for us.
Bryan has moved the ball, but when you've had to come up with the key defensive play, your defense, as they have done so well in the last 2 or 3 ball games, actually more than that, frankly, all season, came up with a big play.
They certainly do. They've done this all year. They're a very emotional group. They play excited. They really enjoy playing, and they have so much fun, and it's really fun to watch them play.
Okay, we'll come back and look at the second quarter highlights as the Frank Bevers Show continues right after this.
Who's he calling a dead skin? What does Skip Bayless say about his favorite Washington Redskin? Marvelous, Manley works magic with his mouth. But basically, Dex is not so manly. He's a 6'4", 260-pound sack of sugar. Say, Skippy, you ever been popped by a 260-pound sack of sugar?
Skip Bayless doesn't candy coat his column. That's why morning and afternoon, Dallas sports fans ask, what does the Herald say?
Ewing Buick Volvo, the North Dallas location for Buick, featuring the largest selection in Dallas, from the sporty Skyhawk to the luxurious Electra Park Avenue. And Ewing also sells Volvo, GLs, DLs, and the top-of-the-line 760. Volvo recognized as the safest import in America, and Ewing not only sells but services. Buick and Volvo. Ewing has them at one of the most convenient locations to the Park Cities, north on the tollway to Dallas Parkway and the high-rise dealership, Ewing Buick Volvo.
As we pick up the second quarter highlights, Highland Park has the ball at the 30-yard line. It's second down and 14, and John throws to Clark Killington again, a big game.
This is a big play. They come on a safety blitz. John reads it real nicely, and he knows he has to get the ball off very quickly for a completed pass.
Then on the next play, James Lowell picks up 6 yards. It's first down and 10 at the 47-yard line. John Stollenworth looking out on the left side for Mike McCullough, incomplete.
John had to rush out just a little bit. They came on the safety blitz again. We did a nice job picking it up, but he threw an incomplete pass.
Then Josh Theodore goes for 5 yards, setting up a third down and 5 at the Bryan 49. And Bryan is up to the task this time. Josh is stopped after a gain of 2, and Wayne Clements comes in to punt, and he gets away a good boot here, 43 yards, and I'm sure he really did just what he wanted to do there.
Really did. He wanted to kick the ball, try to push kick it, get it down inside the 5-yard line. Our punt cover team does a super job killing the ball before it gets in the end zone.
From the 4, Perry on first down breaks it out to the 10-yard line, second down and 4, and Jordan keeps the ball for a gain of 3. This sets up third down and 1, and Bryan in a pretty tough situation here, but they go to the big guy, and he's got the first down.
Does he ever? He's so strong, and he twists, and he turns, and he throws his body around. He's difficult to get in.
First and 10 from the 19. Smith comes around the left side for a gain of 5.
Just a beautiful tackle by our Mike backer, George C., who has made so many tackles this year, and he is a super football player. And another tackle.
And it is Perry, but a swarming Scott defense is all over him. Now, here comes Smith. Can he get the first down? It looks like it might have been a little bit short, but there is, however, a penalty against Highland Park.
And I think we help them out on 2 penalties on this drive here, which enables them to keep a drive alive.
So the first down play, Jordan options left, keeps for a pickup of 4 yards. Then Williams comes up the middle, only 2 on that gain. So this brings up third down and 4 at the Highland Park 49. Jordan throws complete to Keller for a gain of 9 and a first down.
Well, I'll tell you, just about any play you see so many blue shirts around the football.
Now, they go to Perry. Perry wants to throw the option pass, but there's nobody there, and with his outstanding athletic ability, he scrambles back around the right side and turns what would have been a loss into a gain.
And, of course, our Mike backer, George C., and Brady Giddens make the tackle.
Here's the quick pitch to Perry. Another gain of 7 yards. First and 10 at the Highland Park 27. And Jordan runs it down the middle for 4. So this is a good drive that Bryan has going on here. Second down 6. Smith is bottled up this time.
Trip Wood stays at home, does a good job containing him, forcing him to turn back in, and a bunch of our kids make the tackle.
On third down and 6, Jordan is looking to throw, can't find a receiver. He is tackled at the 20-yard line. However, offsides against Highland Park, and here comes the indication. This is the second of the 2 penalties.
Now, this was a real critical play here. If we could have held them here, then it'd been it's been difficult for them to get on the boards.
But as you see on the next play, Perry runs for 4 yards for a first down. It's 1st and 10 at the 14. Perry goes for 7, and it looks like they're just going to stay with Perry till they get to the end zone, and they do on this play.
I'll tell you what, with a football player like him, you want to keep the ball in his hand as much as possible.
What a long drive. 17 plays. It covers 96 yards. The extra point is good, and the score is 7-7. Now let's watch the kickoff, and you had a couple of different players returning kicks for you.
Yeah, this is Byron Cox, number 87, who is a wide receiver, and he's got good quickness, and you'll probably see him back in the deep spot from now on.
1st and 10 at the 18-yard line. John Stallworth throws, and boy, that was a good catch by Kennington, wasn't it?
It really was. John really had to thread the needle to get that pass in for a completion.
And John comes right back on this one to Wayne Clements for gain of 11.
Tell you what, John is very hot. He's very consistent, and he's doing a super job right now.
Sideline pass this time, a little bit off the mark intended for Clements. Not much time remaining in the second quarter. 2nd down, 10 at the 48. And let's see what happens here. Pass is overthrown, intended for Josh Theodore. So it's 3rd down and 10. You're going to go with a draw play here, but Bryan keeps you from getting the first down. So this brings up 4th down and 5 at the 43-yard line. And only just a few seconds remaining in the second quarter at this point as Wayne punts the ball all the way down to the 3-yard line.
I'll tell you what, our kids take so much pride in hustling down the field, and they really enjoy pinning the opponent inside of the 5-yard line, and it's a lot of fun to them.
Once again, defense and the kicking game so important to you in the first half of that contest, as it has been in all of these big games.
Oh, in any big game, the kicking game field position is so critical.
Okay, we'll come back and continue with this week's Frank Bevers Show as the Scots get ready to take on Conroe this Saturday night at Texas Stadium in just a moment.
I know when my investor, minds over money.
This fall, keep up with all the sports news by exclusive sports reporter Brenda Lamance. Sports with Brenda Lamance, only in the Park Cities News. There is no comparison.
Join Abbio and Adlita in showing your support as the Scots take state. Stop by the Abbio and Adlita office at 5933 Berkshire Lane between Douglas and the Tollway and pick up your Beat Conroe button, or go by the administration building and get one because they will not be available at the game.
Coach, in terms of any adjustments that you were looking at making at halftime of the Bryan game, I'm not sure that there was really a whole lot to adjust to.
No, the thing that we're trying to do is be sure that once we went on the field that we did not go on the field flat, that we were be pumped up, and we want to do everything possible to get the momentum in our favor rather than turning it over to Bryan. And we had a good game plan. We made very few adjustments at halftime. We just tried to get the kids to be mentally alert once we took the field.
We've talked about what an emotional bunch of players you have, especially on defense, and I have the feeling that having defeated Plano in a highly emotional ball game and then being able to come right back after that and still keep it together and beat Bryan, that there's not going to be any type of a letdown for Conroe.
I hope not. Of course, you know, there's just so many great games in you, and of course I hope that we haven't used all ours up at this point in time, and I don't think we have. Our kids will play hard, and they'll always play to the best of their ability.
You know, when you look back to last summer, now for me it seems like it was just a few days ago that football season was getting ready to start. Doesn't seem that way for you, does it?
No, it's been pretty long, pretty hard. Of course, it has been fun. When it no longer becomes fun, it's time for you to do something else. And it is a game, and the kids really enjoy playing, and it's a big deal in their life.
Well, when you get into playoffs like this, it's something that is truly a memorable experience for the players, for the moms and the dads, the fans here at Highland Park. But you think back, and it all got started back in those dog days of summer when it was hot, and there wasn't much glory involved there. And we're going to contrast the beginning of the season with what's been happening in the playoffs in this special halftime feature. Well, we certainly hope you enjoyed our halftime feature, and we'd like nothing better than to have another one just like that for you next week.
I hope so.
Coach, in scanning over the crowd Saturday afternoon, you know, I really expected that there would be a big turnout for the Plano ball game, but it looked to me like there were as many Highland Park people there for the Bryan game as there were for Plano.
Oh, we had a nice crowd over on our side of the field. I think a lot of people in the Dallas area have begun to get caught up in the success that we're having. They want to come see what all the excitement is about.
Okay, we'll come back and watch the second half highlights of Highland Park's thrilling win over Bryan, so please stay with us.
At Abio and Atleta, we know what makes the Park City special.
Ewing Buick Volvo, the North Dallas location for Buick, featuring the largest selection in Dallas, from the sporty Skyhawk to the luxurious Electra Park Avenue. And Ewing also sells Volvo, GLs, DLs, and the top-of-the-line 760. Volvo recognized as the safest import in America, and Ewing not only sells but services. Buick and Volvo. Ewing has them at one of the most convenient locations to the Park Cities, north on the tollway to Dallas Parkway and the high-rise dealership, Ewing Buick Volvo.
And it means in addition to, as in 1 and 1 equals 2. In investing, it means adding experience and knowledge to your own, as in 1 and 1 equals 3. To the serious investor, that represents a considerable advantage, and why so many of them are coming to us. The Serious Investor and Shearson Lehman American Express. Minds over money.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. Let's roll right into the second half highlights. Texas Stadium, tie ball game 7-7, and it will be Delaney on the returning end of this kickoff. As you mentioned earlier, two different players back.
Anderson now has 8 assists in this
game. Now Brandon Williams got shook up a little bit first half, and he'll handle the kicking situation of this ball game.
First down from the 18, John Stallowar keeps for no gain. And on the second down play, after the play action fake, John throws deep downfield, and it is incomplete. So we go right back to the air here on third down. You're not bashful about opening the third quarter with a passing game.
Now we know that we're going to have to throw the ball in order to win the game. This is a nice pass, just a little bit long.
So, after Wayne Clements punts, here comes Smith on 1st and 10 from the 41. He gains 13 yards. And now we're going to watch the Charles Perry show here for about the next 9 or 10 carries. It's going to be Perry, number 41, on every carry.
Certainly is. You can see how strong he is. He runs through tackles, he spins, and he turns. He's a difficult kid to get down.
Not the only thing that varies as this drive goes along is who makes the tackle.
No, that's true. Most of the time, it's several of our kids making the tackle.
Now from the 28-yard line. This looked to me like the real big play in the drive, though.
It really was. He's running real hard. He found a crease inside and made a nice gain.
Gain of 19 for Charles Perry. 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. Quick pitch to Perry. You had this play pretty well defensed, I thought, but again, the great individual effort by Perry.
He certainly is. He's elusive. He's hard to get down. He's strong. He's quick. He squirms and turns. He's just a good football player.
Now it's 3rd down and goal from the 3. Perry trying to force his way into the end zone. He's short. It's 4th and goal from inside the 1. And Bryan not going for a field goal. They just give the ball to Perry, and he takes it over the top. Got just enough to cross the plane of the goal line for the TD.
Thought we had him stopped short, and on his way down, once we had him stopped, he fell in the end zone.
But look at that. The extra point is missed, and the score remains 13-7 after that 59-yard drive. Most of the carries by Perry, in fact, 8 consecutive ones for 46 yards. Bouncing kickoff is taken by Cox.
This is a super return by Bryan, and we get the ball out in decent field positions.
Well, I felt like after they missed that extra point, that really seemed to give your team an emotional boost.
Well, you know, you never know what's fixing to happen in the game. When you miss an extra point in a close ball game, bad things fixing to happen.
Josh Theodore, 6 yards on 1st down, 2nd and 4 from the Highland Park 40. And you'll come right back to Josh again, this time over the left side. 3rd down and 1. And you really need a 1st down here.
We certainly do. We need to come with a big play, and Josh finds a nice crease, picks up the 1st down.
So in 3 carries, Theodore for 16 yards. 1st and 10 at the 50. James Zoll's turn. He gains 5.
Our kids are doing a good job. We're knocking Bryan off the line of scrimmage right here. The thing we don't need to do is just make a mental error by turning the football.
Did that pitch out make you nervous?
Oh, my heart stopped beating.
3rd and 4 at the 44-yard line. This is a big play in this drive.
A beautiful pass complete to McCullough.
Gain of 19 and a 1st down at the 23 of Bryan. Josh Theodore picks up 4 yards.
We're having them real good inside, run the ball right straight at them. Nothing fancy, just trying to play it close to the vest and not make an error.
After John Stallworth picks up 3, watch closely on this play from the 16-yard line. There's a vicious hit on Josh Theodore. The ball pops in the air, and Bryan comes up with it.
This is the one thing that you don't want to happen when you've got a great drive going like this, because we're doing a good job completely dominating them at the line of scrimmage.
But the Scots defense comes on the field and does their job. Perry stopped after a gain of 1. Here's a pitch back to Perry. He's going to lose 2 yards on this play.
Wow, this is great lateral pursuit by our defense, coming right down the line of scrimmage for a no gain.
3rd down and 11, a pass from Jordan, caught by Josie. It's a gain of 5, but not nearly enough for a first down out at the 20-yard line. So Bryan, leading 13-7, has to punt, and Highland Park should get at least pretty good field position from which to operate.
This is a super job by our defense. The thing they need to do is go out there and hold them, force them to punt, because we've got momentum going offensively.
From the 36-yard line of Highland Park, Josh Theodore gains 3.
Come right back with the same style of attack that we had on the previous set of downs on the field. And now John comes out on a pass, and this is a big play, running very hard, completes the ball for a 25-yard gain to Wayne Clements.
All the way down to the 39-yard line, a very key play. 1st and 10 at the 36. John will keep the ball this time as he fakes the pitch, cuts it back inside down to the 29-yard line. And on 2nd down and 3, James Knoll gets a couple of tough yards as the 3rd quarter draws to a close, but you can just sense as the 4th quarter is about to get underway that this time you're not going to be stopped from going in to score.
Now, our kids on the sideline, they were anxious to get back on the field. They felt on the previous drive that they were really whipping Bryan real badly at the line of scrimmage, and they were excited about getting back in the game.
All right, we'll come back and see what happens. Of course Highland Park scores, don't they? Because they won the ball game, and we'll see that in just a minute.
Past 46.
Quarter started?
No, when you're down on the sideline, there's not any speech making you can do. You just need to get your act together and try to keep your kids pumped up, keep them excited, and try to have some sort of game plan in your mind as the game progresses and moves along that will be a type of situation that you can keep the football in your hands.
Okay, as you were aware, the Scots had the ball as the 4th quarter got underway, and let's see the action now. As we start from the 26-yard line of Bryan, Josh Theodore carries for 2 yards. That does get a first down. Remember, it was 3rd down and 1, so it's 1st and 10 at the 24. And John can't get on track this time. He's dropped at the 24-yard line. 2nd down and 10. And John is swarmed under. Well, this is going to set you up here with a real key play in the ballgame, Coach.
It certainly is, and this is a big play here. To keep a drive alive, we've got to function on this play.
3rd down and 14 at the Bryan 28. John, with good protection from the offensive line, hits Kennington for 17 and a first down, and I think you can't underestimate the importance of the offensive line blocking there.
Oh, you can't. They're giving John great protection, and he's functioning very well at this point in the game.
James Knoll picks up 2 yards, 2nd down and 8 at the 10, and you may have crossed Bryan's defense up on this touchdown run.
Yeah, really did. On the previous play, they had put the free safety, strong safety, and corner all on one side, so we crossed up to set the formation of wide side field and brought it back in the short side.
And Wayne Clements, sure-footed, boots the extra point. 10 plays, 64 yards, a 1-point lead, 14-13, but still a lot of time left. And here is the kickoff. It's taken by Sheffield, and they've got good field position, maybe about the best I've seen from one of your opponents this year.
They certainly have. We squib kicked the ball, and he picked it up on a good bounce and got a nice return.
1st and 10 at the Bryan 44. It is Charles Perry, the workhorse, for 6 yards. 2nd down, 4 at the 50. They'll stay with Perry again. Remember, he carried 8 straight times on their touchdown drive. Now, here's another very key play in the ballgame. They only need 2 for a first down, and you got to be pretty certain that Perry's going to get it, and he does.
Wow, this is a great job by Doug Cardley Jr. This guy here is going to be a good one next fall.
Boy, what a defensive play, because it forces a Bryan punt, 4th down and 4 at the 50-yard line after the loss of 2 yards, and Davis on the receiving end of the ball down at the 15-yard line.
Steve does a good job catching the football, and we get the ball on the 15-yard line.
So Josh Theodore on 1st down picks up 6 yards. That sets up 2nd down and 4 at the 22. And, of course, one thing you want to do here is pick up some first downs and work on the clock.
Do your error. We're trying to get time off the clock, keep it on the ground if possible. If not, then you'll have to throw.
So now the ball is out at the 27 as James Knoll got 2 yards and a big first down. John Stollenwerk keeps, no gain on the play. It's 2nd down and 10 at the 28. And let's see what happens here. Bryan is in there very quickly as John tries to reverse his field and then just wisely runs out of bounds. 3rd down and 17 at the 21. John's back to throw. The rush is on again. The blocking is there, though. The pass a little bit too high.
They were coming on safety blitz once again, had a little problem with it.
4th and 17 at the 21. And here is the punt. And there is some hitting going on down there, Coach.
There really is. Of course, you see their defender there staying too close to the ball. You don't do that. You get knocked in the ball, end up turning football.
1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. Smith, the ball carrier.
Here they come on trick play. Tripwood is not fooled by it. He's got excellent speed, and he runs Smith down from behind.
Well, loss of 3 there. 2nd down, 13 at the 31-yard line. Eddie Jordan, the quarterback, back to throw. The rush is on. He loses 3 yards.
That's a good job of Brady Giddens, pulls him up and makes a quarterback sack.
Coach, here is a gutsy call by the Bryan people. 3rd down and 16, and look at this. Here comes Perry for 16 yards.
And the tackle made by Esquivel. This is a draw play, and he split us down the middle.
1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Jordan looking, goes out of bounds. No gain. 2nd and 10 at the 44. Pitch back to Perry, but there's no place for him to go this time.
No, it really isn't. And the whole inside of our line makes a tackle.
3rd down and 7 at the 47-yard line. Jordan throws incomplete.
I think maybe the sun might have helped us just a little bit there in throwing the ball and trying to catch it facing the sun.
Watch this one closely. On 4th down, the pass is tipped. There was another Bryan player there. He almost caught it, but not quite.
And I believe that receiver is still a little shook up in his mind.
Boy.
And Scott Smith is very excited. Get on that field. Let's get pumped up.
So the Scots take over. 1st and 10 at the Bryan 47-yard line. Josh Theodore picks up 2 yards. 2nd down, 8 at the 45. And time really a big factor in the ballgame now. James Knoll for +2.
Staying down, James. We don't want to do anything. Stop that clock.
Now after a delay penalty, Josh Theodore gains 2 yards. 4th down and 9 at the 46. Here's the punt by Clements.
We deliberately take a delay of the game here, trying to get as many seconds off that clock as possible.
And again, good coverage. So Bryan is faced with having to go 89 yards with not a lot of time left. Jordan throws to Mosley. He does not get out of bounds.
Here's a super job. Matt Johnson makes a tackle, keeps him inbound. The clock is running. Now they got to throw the ball to the receiver, and he steps out of bounds in order to stop the clock.
And inside, I believe, a minute to go here. 1st and 10 at the 22. The pass is incomplete by Jordan.
Wow, there's a lot of us calling it out of bounds right there, and that was a good call by the referee.
2nd down, 10 at the 22. Clutch reception here by Smith, and he gets out of bounds.
I believe the clock still is going, and they stop it, and they start again once the 1st down chain's moved.
So after the incomplete pass, they try a screen out on the near side. It is incomplete. 3rd down and 10 at the 39. And the sack pack's going to take over.
This is Logan Bean in the ball game. Number 68 makes a quarterback sack. A very big play.
4th down and 10 at the 39-yard line for Bryan. Just a few ticks left on the clock. And they are really in desperate straits. No timeouts left. Jordan goes back to throw. Here comes the rush. Boom, he is down.
Wow, Mike Schmidt cut him into it on that tackle.
And that is, I believe, worth another look. The last gasp for the Bryan Vikings here with inside 15 seconds to go, and let's watch it one more time.
Wow, that's a pretty hard hit right there.
A super hit. The Scots take over. They run out the clock on the last few seconds in the final 14-13, Highland Park over Bryan. And really, in retrospect, a total victory. The defense, which has played so well for you in the key games here down the stretch drive, of course, did it again. The kicking game was solid, but the offense came up with those big plays when they had to have them.
Really did. We played well. Kids played hard. I think they played about as good as they could play.
Okay, we will see what's in store for us this Saturday at Texas Stadium. The ball game scheduled at 7:30 Saturday night against Conroe. We'll talk about them in just a minute. feel?
I feel great. It was a whole team effort. We came in at halftime. We just said we're going to get after them. Second half.
Matt, when one gets down on the sidelines and sees your size, you're not very tall, you're not very big, and yet you play with a lot of heart.
I don't know. I just try my best. Yeah, it's tough to say. I don't know.
Talk a little bit about their fine running game, and Charles Perry, I guess you knew coming in, he's the guy you'd have to stop.
Yeah, he's a great athlete, and we knew we were going to have to stop him. And as you saw, he did run over us a few times, but we got after him in the second half, and I'm just pleased we won.
It was a tie ball game at the half. They seemed to have the momentum after that long drive and that touchdown. What were the coaches saying to you at halftime?
They were just telling the offense to come out and drive it down, and we had to stop them the first time out, but we didn't. But we stayed after them. As you can see, we won.
One other quick question. It's been pointed out several times this year that the defense plays with so much emotion. Talk about that.
Well, we aren't talented, especially me. I'm not that talented, so we got to play with a lot of emotion to, so we can make up for our talent, especially me.
3 games left in the 5A playoffs. Think you can go all the way?
I hope so.
Looks like you got a little tattoo, something to remember this game.
Yeah, I turned around, the guy was running at me full speed, nailed me right in the chin, but we all picked back up.
In looking at the films of Bryan before you played them, you realized that Charles Perry was their big gun, and he did have a good ball game today, and yet not quite good enough.
Not quite good enough. The key point is they missed the extra point. We had more penetrations anyway, so we won the ball game. Perry, the thing about Perry that's so outstanding is he's about the same size as a lot of other backs, but he twists real well, and he turns, and he never stops driving his legs, and that's why he can pick up extra yardage and keep going. Great back.
This game was really up for grabs at halftime, especially after they came back with the long drive and scored. I'm sure in their locker room they were thinking, hey, we've got the momentum, we're going to win the ball game. What were you guys thinking?
Well, the one thing about that long drive that I don't think anybody could really pick up, we had a late hit, we had an offsides. We stopped
2 penalties.
Twice. We stopped them twice, and we just beat ourselves on that drive. And we knew that. We knew we could stop them in the second half. They got a good drive, and they scored, but still the offense came back, scored, and we held them the rest of the game. We knew we could hold them.
This team just seems to dig down for something extra and come up with whatever it takes every week.
That's what we do. I mean, Bryan's got all these great talent. They got some great size. They have better size than we do. They got more speed than we do. We just play better as a team. We are a team. I mean, that's the only way you can put it. We're not a team of individuals that just goes around playing for themselves. We play together, and that's why we've been winning so far.
Keep it going another week.
Yes, sir. We sure will.
Last week, James Knoll ripped off a long touchdown run. This week, it was your time. Tell us a little bit about that play as it developed and what you were thinking as you saw the daylight.
Well, first he just, I was going in just thinking on holding on to the ball, and I was just scared to death. And John handed it off and cut it back inside. The blockers just moved them all out, and I just cut back, and it was daylight the rest of the way.
Boy, I guess when you get in the open like that, you're just thinking, gee, I just don't want to stumble and fall down.
I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking about scoring.
Of course, it gave the offense a big lift early in the ball game and put you guys out in front.
Yes, sir. It was a great deal. That momentum, helped us in the game, and even though they came back and took the lead, I knew that our offense, since we had that spurt, we could do it the whole time anyway.
I have a feeling that you all had a real good week of practice before this ball game, even though you were coming off a very emotional win over Plano.
Yes, well, we had never won a game after Plano, and so we were real intense during the week, and we wanted to play, as well as we could this week and win for Coach Bevers' 100th victory.
I think this next week we can probably look for more of the same kind of intensity.
Yes, sir, I hope so.
I tell you what, this is 3 in the playoffs, and it's got to just feel fantastic.
Oh, I feel great. I can't explain. Words cannot. I just can't explain how good I feel right now. I'm so tired, but it's worth it. It's worth it, I tell you what.
I tell you what, you have done such a great job all year, both catching the football and handling the kicking game, and that's asking an awful lot.
Oh, well, no, I mean, shoot, I don't know what to say that. We're just trying to keep winning. That's all that's important. I don't know. I'm just so happy that we keep winning. I don't know.
What did you think when Bryan missed their extra point? What was the first thing that went through your mind?
Well, I know the guy, and I went to camp with him back about 5 years ago, and so when he missed it, I knew we were going to go down scoring, and I knew that I was going to have to make that extra point if we did score, and
yet I don't think you really felt all that much pressure because you have kicked so well all year.
You weren't on the field. It was very scary. Thank you.
Now the task is for the Scots to maintain that exuberant attitude as they get ready to take on Conroe this Saturday night. Coach, what is in store for you?
Oh, it's going to be an exciting game. They're very good. They're very thankful to be in the playoffs, as we are. And on paper, neither team is supposed to be there. So it's going to be a good, exciting matchup, and both teams are going to throw their bodies around. They're going to play very hard. Offensively, they run a wing T offense. Got two good halfbacks. They carry the football, number 8 and number 25. And, of course, the thing that really makes them go is their quarterback, number 11, David White, is an excellent passer. He's about 6'3". He's got great touch on the ball and is a very accurate football player. And he's going to try to get the ball to number 21, Keith Sneed, who is a big play guy that is very quick, who has about a 26-yard average on receiving the football. So when he catches a ball, a lot of electricity is fixing to get in there because he is going to make something happen. And they're not a real high-scoring football team right now because everybody's pretty equal, and it's hard to go out there and blow someone out 30, 40 points anymore. So we think it'll be very close. Defensively is probably the strength of their football team. They're going to have 8 people on the line of scrimmage. They'll run a split 4-4 stack, 5-3 stack. They're going to always have 8 people on the line of scrimmage, and they're going to put all kinds of pressure on you, trying to force you in an error and give them a short touchdown drive. And they just hustle so much, and they run so hard. They're not real physical or real big like some of the teams we've played earlier, but they force you into areas by putting so many people on the line of scrimmage.
Is there an opponent that you have faced this year that you could compare favorably to Conroe?
Oh, their style of attack is going to be very similar to Roosevelt and Wormer Hutchins. Have everybody up there, dare you to throw. They want you to throw. They think they can intercept the football if you do by putting a bunch of pressure on your quarterback.
What about offensively, a team that you faced this year that would be similar to what they will show you on offense?
Well, their offensive attack will be very similar to Bryan. And the only difference in the two is they'll throw the ball in the middle a little more than what Bryan did, but they'll run the sweeps, the reverses, they'll throw the football, and they'll throw the football in the middle, and that's the main difference.
You know anything about the coaching staff at Conroe?
Yeah, Mike Barber has been around some time. I think he's been there about 11, 12 years now. He came up through the system as a freshman coach, and some of his coaches played for Conroe, and they're excellent football staff. They're old country boys. They work real hard. They're very knowledgeable, very easy to work with and deal with, very professional. They're just good guys.
Conroe is an area north of Houston. Boy, it is really pretty down there, but geographically, it's maybe, a little bit like Plano in that it's one of those big growth areas, I believe.
Yeah, it really is. They've grown tremendously in the past 5 years, and they got a lot of kids in that area. And, of course, they've got a lot of pride and tradition in their school, as a bunch of the football powers have. Nearly every year, you'll see one of the Conroe teams in the playoffs from now on. As you get ready for this ball game this weekend, the injury situation, how does that stack up? We're 100%. We're a little bit bruised, but everyone that started the ball game last week will be starting this week. Well, hey, let me ask you, have you had to replace any of the yellow ribbons on the trees in your front yard, or have the original ones stayed with you for a couple of weeks now? No, I don't think the original ones have been there, but they've been replaced a time or so, and everybody is excited. Well, my folks happen to be in town over Thanksgiving weekend, and they were shopping over in this part of the city, and they commented on the tremendous number of yellow ribbons they saw tied all over the place, and it didn't dawn on them. I had mentioned to my wife previously about the yellow ribbons, but my mom and dad weren't aware of it, and after I told them, they said, gee whiz, everybody over there must be behind the football team. And they really have. The slogan is try tree for victory, and a lot of people are wanting to see us win. Now, we don't want to count our chickens before they hatch, but if you should win the ball game this weekend, the opponent in the state semifinals would be either Midland Lee or Odessa Permian. And boy, those are a couple of real tough football teams from out in West Texas. They play in the same district. Odessa Permian beat Midland Lee during the regular season, but now they have got a rematch, and boy, that's going to be a real battle. Is it ever? We think it's pretty much going to be a toss-up. Which one wins the football game, I don't think any of us really know or have a good feeling of which one's going to win. But I'll say this, that Lee is an excellent football team as well as Permian is, and it will be exciting and will be a big football game. Now, if we play Permian, the rule goes within the last 6 years, If you've played them at your place, then you have to go to their place. So we played them here in Texas Stadium in 1980. There'll be no flip. There'll be no negotiating. We'll play in Odessa, Texas if we play Permian High School.
Now, if it was Midland Lee, what happens there?
Well, then you get together and it's a negotiated thing. And you try to decide whether you would like to play at a neutral site first. And if they call you to a neutral site and you really don't want to, then you'll have to flip the coin to see whether you play on neutral field or whether you're going to flip then for home and home. And right now, we haven't got together with them, and we really don't know what the thinking is at the present time.
You don't want to get too far ahead until after we see what happens against Conroe.
No, I got Tigers on my mind right now, and we've got our hands full with them.
Well, your team has been on a roll, and not only has the football team been on a roll, but you and Randy Emery have been on a roll with your coin tosses, too.
Well, you know, this has always been a touchy subject with me. I've never been very good at flipping those coins, and particularly calling. I called one time this year, so we end up in Sprague Field, and I've been flipping every week after that.
Well, we certainly hope to see all of you out at Texas Stadium Saturday night at 7:30. Bundle up. I'm sure it's going to be a very cold night, but it's going to be pretty warm on the sidelines and out on the field, isn't it?
There's going to be some heat on that football field, that's for sure.
Should be a good football game, and we will be right back here at the same time next week with highlights for you of the ball game against Conroe. Thanks very much for being with us, and good night, everybody.
American heartbeat. The American heartbeat. The American heartbeat. Oh, the American heartbeat. It's the American heartbeat. American heartbeat. The American heartbeat. America. The American heartbeat. Oh, the American heartbeat. The American heartbeat. American heartbeat. American heartbeat. America. The American heartbeat. Oh, the American heartbeat. The American heartbeat.
Ribbons around trees, around the Mercedes.